Who's this handsome fella? Hello, Frisco. Well, I told you it was either give me 500 points off the Dow or I'm never shaving, and next thing you know, Badoof. So, I wish I could say that it was awesome. I wish I could say a lot of things. But I just want to talk about why stock ownership sucks. If I haven't mentioned, stock ownership sucks. And it's been pretty much 25 years. I don't pick individual stocks well. But why do you have to pick individual stocks when you have all of these ETFs? You want to buy the market goes up every day? Buy the market. Diamonds. You want to own some tech stocks, but you can't choose one? How about some biotechs and some technology stocks all clumped together, the best of the best, QQQ. So my default was always diamonds and Qs. You want to know why? Because I've been doing this 20 years. I think I'm the only one that actually held stocks. And you know when your stock's going down, you're like, this fucker's going to zero. I've owned 4 stocks that actually went to zero, and I still have something to my name. It's amazing how many bad things have happened to me personally owning individual stocks. Sorry, I've owned 5 stocks. At least one of them I got out of before it went to zero. So let's go through it. Enron. Remember Enron? You guys probably don't even remember Enron. Enron, that was just crashing, and I'll tell you the story. Enron, so it's all the way down to like $5. And the jig is up. You know, people are thinking, all right, there's something obviously going on here. This thing might be, they might be in trouble of getting bankrupt. But then there was this talk of takeover at $5. And they were saying how it's a easy takeover at $7.50, possibly $10 by a company called Dynegy. So there I am buying this thing at $5, right? And there it is, rocking up to $7.50. I think it was like 8.25, right? And somebody whispered the worst thing to me ever, and luckily most of the stuff that guys told me has resonated and still applies today. My boy Isaac, who really just set a lot of policies in my life as a trader that still apply today, but he did one thing that he messed up, and it wasn't his fault. But he walked over to me, he's like, maybe I was about to dump it all at $7.50. I bought it at $5, I was going to sell it at $7.50. You know, I had my 10,000 shares, it was a nice day, right? So, what do? He comes over to him, he says, maybe you don't want to sell in case a white knight shows up. And I'm like, ooh, what's a white knight? He said, well, once there's one bidder of a company, sometimes a white knight comes along and outbids whoever's bidding, and then there's a bidding war. So I'm like, yeah, well, you wouldn't steer me wrong, right? I'll give it a shot. I go to lunch. Next thing you know, the trader at the desk is calling me. This is when you had to put orders in and that kind of thing. He's calling me, Ken, what do you want to do with this Enron? It's at 20 cents. I thought he was fucking with me just because I cut out early. I really wasn't even planning on coming back. I figured I was going to let Enron go. And it had gone from, I think, about $7.80 to 20 cents while I was at lunch. Still think he was fucking with me until I ran back to the office. I'm like, what the So apparently, Dynegy pulled their bid because they got inside to see if the books were cooked, basically right out of Wall Street. And apparently, the whole company was a sham. And long story short, there went a nice chunk of change on my part. And never did recover, obviously, Enron. And then we got WorldCom. Fantastic, right? WorldCom's not going to go out of business. Flickety-boo bye. See ya! And then many moons later, what came next? Walter Energy. Oh, yeah. Remember Walter Energy? We did so well with it back in the day on the way up, and then we smoked it on the way down. But then it gets down to that 250 area, and there's rumblings of takeovers, so I buy some at 250. Where's that now? Zero. So you got the Enron, the WorldCom, the Walter Energy, and then, another really great tidbit of advice that I got was Penson. Remember Penson? Oh, come on, Ken. They're doing an IPO. You got to get involved. Our new software is cutting edge. We're going to just do fantastic things with this software. And don't worry about the IPO that it's dipping right now. You want to pick it up right here at 19 bucks. Do I? Do I want to pick it up here at 19 bucks? So as Penson rolls all the way down to like 9, and that was during the financial crisis, and this is why I hate Charles Schwab, and maybe you don't know this whole story, but so there I was with another debacle on my hands with a couple of thousand shares of Penson getting smoked, down 10 points on my Penson, and they outlawed shorting stocks. Remember that? When the market was going down, you weren't allowed to short stocks. First of all, you weren't even allowed to look at financial stocks and say the word short, or you'd be arrested. So Penson was classified as a financial stock. So the day when they outlawed shorting, Penson opened up at $20 from 9 the morning before. So I'm thinking, holy shit, what a free gift. So I'm sitting there hitting the sell key, and I get an error. You're not allowed to short stocks. I'm like, I have 2,000 shares. I'd like to sell them. Next thing you know, it's at 19. And I'm like, I'd like to sell them. I'm getting an error message, so I'm on the phone with Schwab, and I finally get through because everybody's calling in because they don't know what the fuck is going on. 18, 17, 16, 15, as I'm on the phone with them, and I'm saying, get me out of this goddamn Penson. Sir, you're not allowed to short stocks in the financial industry. I have 2,000 shares. Sir, you're not allowed to short stocks in the I have 2,000 shares. You're not allowed to, yeah, I have 2,000 shares. Now it's at 12. Now it's at 11. Now it's at 10. I'm going to fucking come there and rip your fucking head off. And then it went to 97520. And that was my experience with Penson. Thanks a lot, Penson. Well done over there at Penson. What a great IPO. What was your stock positive for one day in the 30s, and then you tanked and went to 0. So basically proving once again that IPOs suck. Individual stock ownership sucks. The more you think you know about a company means nothing. Because I thought I knew about Penson. I had basically guys working there telling me how fantastic it was, and it went to 0. Whoa. So Enron, WorldCom, Walter Energy, and Penson. Then, of course, there's LeapFrog, right? Oh, yeah, fucking LeapFrog. Woo! Man, I was up killing it in the LeapFrog. I had every goddamn toy. These toys were costing me $80. I got a 2-year-old kid with an $80 freaking toy that's talking to him. The A, the B, and the C. Give me a speak and spell from 1980. S, 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 I. That is incorrect. Now spell asshole. A, S, 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 S. That is incorrect. Now spell dickhead. Remember speak and spell? So I'm buying my kid $80 toys with interchangeable devices. So I'm thinking, oh, I better own stock in this company, right? Warren Buffett style. You know, you buy what you know, right? Next thing you know, LeapFrog, 0. I think the stock was at $30. They pre-announced that they suck one afternoon. The stock was at 15 the next morning. Luckily, I was like, wow, not again. So I dumped it at 15, and inevitably that went to 0. And here we are going to talk about Mark. Oh, yeah. Individual stock ownership. Fantastic. All right. Maybe I got caught up in the blockchain. Maybe I didn't do my due diligence, but I thought it sounded like a good enough company that maybe I'd like to, hang into one of them. It wasn't a Q or a Diamond or an Alibaba or an AMD or a US Steel, things that I felt more secure about. But let me get some Mark. Oh, look, Mark's breaking 10. Let me buy some more. Let me buy some more at 11.50. Breaking, bahoo, 12.50. 12.50 probably gets you 15, right? So there it is at $15. Oh, but no. Yeah, the stock went from 10 to 15, and we're up 50% on our money. But come on, this is the greatest bull market of all time. So I'm not thinking about selling at 15, but that day when it hit 15 and starts to roll over, thank God I sold some, so at least I say, ooh, thank God I sold some of that Mark, right? So there it was. Okay, we sold some at 15, and we sold some $15 calls against it, so in case it went above 15, maybe we get called away, but those expired last week, so we offset some of the loss. But I understand. You got a stock that's volatile, it's a growth stock. To me, every stock's a pump and dump. Every stock. One day they'll catch up to the Boeing. One day they'll catch up to Google and Netflix and Amazon. They're all pump and dumps, in my opinion, at this point. But some are more quality pump and dumps. They might take longer to be dumped. And of course, obviously, some of them will never be dumped. Again, I'm getting too general with it. But I would say 80% of the stocks suck. Because again, I've been doing this 20 years. Individual stock ownership, not my thing. Back in the day, yeah, when there was an internet and I bought a slot machine company because that's all, there was only one slot machine company. It was either Bally's or IGT. I bought IGT, the company stock did well. But let's go back to the mark for a second. So here it is, right? I understand we're in the greatest bull market in the world. Okay, the stock's pulling back. I'm not buying dips because it's an investment. So I'm thinking you get investment, right? So if an investment, you're not thinking short term, you're thinking 3-4 years. You want to be an investor. You want to be sitting on conference calls and getting 10 Qs and 10Ks sent to your house. Oh boy, I'm an owner. So next thing you know, once it broke 1250, I'm thinking, now it's getting to the point where I'm going to start losing money because I had bought some at 1250 and 13 and change on the way to 15. So now I'm starting to lose money on those last lots. But it's an investment. It's just a pullback. Oh, then the pullback turns into a break in the 1250. At this point, I'm thinking just like a typical bag holder. Just like a typical investor. Well, I didn't sell it at 15. I'm not going to sell it here at 1250. Well, if it breaks 1250, maybe I'll sell some. I'd hate to sell it here at a loss. Let me hang on to it. Next thing you know, it's 1125. Then you're sitting there praying. So let me explain to you where the mistake was. If you're not confident in this situation, this is the nugget of information from this video. As Isaac said, the White Knight guy, this is also one of his. This is what he told me. He's like, if you're in a position, whether it was a trade gone wrong or swing trade or an investment, and you're in the position and it's going against you, if you don't feel comfortable adding to the position, dump the position. Simple. If your stock's pulling back and you're not comfortable, if you say, maybe it's the money situation, but if you had the money and the capability, would you be buying more now? If the answer is no, get the fuck out of the stock, because if you're not going to buy more, why the hell do you own it? And that's the way I felt about Mark at 1250. And I was like, well, I'll give it another couple of days. So then it breaks 1125. And I'm like, all right, looks like we're headed down to 1050. Please, for the love of God, would you hold 1050? So today, not only does it not only does a correction would be like 3 to 5%. A major catastrophe is awfulness is 10%. Then at 20%, the stock's obviously crashed. So now at $8.50, this fucker was $15. I don't know. What was it? 2 weeks ago in the greatest bull market of all time. The greatest bull market of all time. $15 on January 11th. This stock gets cut in half. A 50% fall. So, wow. Individual stock ownership can suck it. So whether you think you know about this market, nah, you don't. It really comes down to you gotta be lucky. You gotta be lucky. Okay? There's 40 stocks that have trended higher this whole time. And that's why I like the Dow and the Qs this whole time, because they both contain those 40 amazing stocks. And if you can't afford to own all 40, why not just buy your diamonds and your Qs? And it really worked out well. And if it wasn't for the diamonds and the Qs, I'd probably be broke right now. Because individual stock ownership, again, not my thing. Not my thing. Because no matter what I think I know about a company, it doesn't work. It never does. And it seems like it never will. Like that 3D printing there. Remember last year? It looked like it was coming out of the doldrums. I love 3D printing. Excited about the industry. Maybe this cutting edge technology will take on. How's that Triple D looking now? Remember? I think it was an $80 stock. We bought it at 17 and it went to 20. Thank God we sold out of that one. DDD. I don't know. I can go down the laundry list of stocks that I got smoked on. Hey, remember we like GE? Thank God that, we like 25 so much that we decided to dump that thing. Look at that fucker's at 15 now. So this bull market, you want to understand why it's so hated? This is the reason. And again, if you buy 10 stocks tomorrow, the market will probably be up, well, not in this environment, but over the last basically 9 years, this statement has boded well or been really accurate. No, let's do 5. You pick any 5 stocks, just random stocks, 5 random stocks. 3 will suck, 1 will be up, 1 will be flat, but the market will go up every day. And we did it. We tried our experiment, and it did not pay off. I mean, we wouldn't do it with any real money. We would do it just to cheat, buy 1 or 2 shares of some, 4 or 5 random stocks, and, tell that to the CYTK guy. Say, like, how's the IMGN guy? How's the ICPT guy doing? How about Macy's? How about TrueCar? What about some, Dynegy? Or how about, the list of all these stocks, none of them are at highs. And they didn't all come from 52-week highs. I could name 100 stocks that suck before I could name the top 40. Everybody knows the top 40. Oh, it's Amazon and Google and Apple and Boeing and 3M and Caterpillar. Yeah, I get it. But this is why this is the most hated bull market. Because you get a stock that not only was it going down while the market was still going up, but then when the market went down, this fucking thing got hammered at 850. So now, I don't care what you think you know about a company. When it goes from 15 to 850 in 2 weeks, nothing you're going to tell me about this company matters to me anymore. I don't give a shit. There's something inherently wrong. 10% pullback, I don't care. 20% pullback, I'm not feeling too bad. I'm not feeling good. But 55, 60% pullback? For what? For what? Did they just kill people? What happened? I don't think there's a stock, other than maybe some blockchains out there, that's fallen 60% since January 11th. I own that one. So if you think, these videos, I don't want to perpetrate that everything I do is rosy and everything I do is fantastic. I mean, we got some really great trades today on the 1 minute VWAP, multi-day VWAP reversals. I mean, we had some fantastic trades. I mean, we had the Facebook, bang, bang. Slickety ding dang, we had the fucking win at 164.50. Bang, boom. Sick trade today. But I'm sitting there watching this mark, the last stock that I had in my portfolio other than the BABA and the AMD, just sitting watching it disintegrate. So no matter what I did today, just looking at that stock made me freaking physically ill to the point where I didn't even lose money today in day trading, but just looking at that stock, I feel like I lost years of my life. Years. Because none of this had to happen. And that's my point. I'm going back, liquid as shit. I got right now AMD and Alibaba, and that's it. So tomorrow, if AMD breaks back under 1250, bye-bye AMD. And you know what? The next time AMD's gap down and it goes green, I'll trade it. And Alibaba, I still think the stock goes to 250, maybe 300, maybe 500 over the next 4 or 5 years if this market continues this upward bias that it has. But you know what? If the earnings come out and this thing gaps up and then rolls over and goes red, not only am I dumping it, I'm shorting the stock. And I'll be in 100% cash, and there's nothing anybody's going to tell me ever again. I don't want to own stocks ever other than the diamonds and the Qs. Because then I know I don't have anything to worry about, because if the market goes up, I'm involved. Market's down, I'm down. Market's up, I'm up. None of this, market was up 240 points today. I look at my 3 stocks that I own and they suck. No more of that shit. No more trying to find the new Microsoft. Just buy Microsoft. Hey, what about this what? I heard they had some good news. Oh, it spiked from 8 to 35. Yeah, how much are the bag holders feeling on that at $35? Oh, it was up $1.90 today. Yeah, from 17 bucks, you're cutting half from 2 weeks ago. Stock ownership blows. Diamonds, Qs, that's it. So then there's no guessing game. That's why last night, to protect myself on the downside, I'm trading the futures. There's no guessing game. It is what it is. There's a bid, there's an offer, no market makers, no CEOs, no investment reports, no 10Qs, no 10Ks. Market's going down, hit the sell key, wham. Individual stock ownership sucks. Do I think AMD could be $20 3 years from now? Sure. But do I want to own this thing anymore? No. Because you know what I did today on AMD? They came out with the numbers. The thing spiked up. Next thing you know, it's breaking back under 13. I shorted it at 13. Here I am shorting a stock that I love. Why? Because it was going down. That's why. Shorted at 13, goes to 12.50, bang, bang, bang. There's $500 to offset what I'm probably going to lose in my other account. Next thing you know, this thing's at 11.88, then starts to bounce. Shorted it at 13, covered it at 12.50. Next thing you know, it's 11.88. So I'm crying now because I got all these calls and I got the stock in my kid's account. Next thing you know, it bounces back to 12, catches a little bottom, wham, 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 I'm back in. Now I'm buying it at 12 in my day trading account. Whip, bang, bang, big, boop, right to 12.50. Sold half. Next thing you know, it's back to 13. So I made half a point on the way down, made a half a point on half on the way back up, and another half a point into the close, sold it at 12.90. So now I don't own the stock. Well, I do. But in theory, let's say I didn't own the stock. I just made $1.50 in one day. So why would I sit here now with the stock if I think it's going to go up 7 points in the next couple of years? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit? You're going to double your money? What if I told you it was going to $24 18 months from now? Of course you'd buy it, right? Or just sit around in cash. Next thing you know, there's a Twitter takeover rumor on a Friday, and you're buying 18-cent options and blowing them out at 50, 85, and $1. Who gives a shit about AMD and 18 months down the road that it could be up 100%? I don't give a fuck. Liquidity. Liquidity, bitches. You're never, ever going to hear that I own stock ever again. I let the powers that be, my family, they want to own shit. They want to own stock. You want to own Verizon for the rest of your life? You want to own some New Jersey resources? You want to own some Diamonds and Qs and some Cisco? No more for me. No more. No more. That's it. Mark was the final straw. I've had fucking four stocks go to zero. One almost went to zero. And now I got a stock that pulls back 60% in 5 days, 6 days. Absolute bullshit. Stock ownership sucks. Well, that's the way to create wealth. Is it? Is it? You know how you create wealth? You buy Twitter options on a Friday, $400 worth, and you make $2,000. And granted, you know what? At the end of the day, if I had fallen into a goddamn coma, those $400 worth of Twitter options at one point, you know, obviously nobody buys at the low or sells it at the high. I bought near the low on the Twitter options on Friday. Those $400 worth of options that I made a whopping $1,200 on, which is pretty sick. $400, made 16, so basically $1,200, 4, 8, 12. Pretty nice trade. At one point, if I had just let it ride, that $400 would have been worth about $6,000, $7,000, which is sick in itself. But you know what? When you see the money, you got to take the money. It's a Friday. You're running out of time. Expiration. Bada boom, bada bing. Or you can own stocks and sit there. I'm an owner. I feel like I'm part of something. Are ya? Are you part of something? Yeah, and ass raping. Before I go, I didn't think I made the second point that I was trying to make. Or maybe I did in the middle of the video because I haven't watched the video. I don't want to watch the video because I probably said something stupid in the video. That's my problem lately. I've been watching my own videos before I put them on YouTube. I'm not doing that anymore either. Because there's be one thing in the video I don't want to put up, and then I'll just junk the whole video. Doesn't matter. Who cares anyway, right? My point that I failed to mention was stock ownership sucks, sure. Swing trading, once you're in the hand of the matrix, no matter how great you think your setup is on the swing trade, once you're holding it overnight, you never know what's going to happen. I have obviously isolated what I'm good at. Talking about things and helping people, but talking about things and helping them do these intraday trades that work 85 to 90% of the time. And I used to go to these seminars, and I used to do these classes, and the first thing I'd always ask, if I had something that works 80% of the time, would you try it? You know, you always raise your hand. Would you try it? Would you try it? You in the back. 80% of the time, would you try it? And everyone's, yeah. And then you say, would that be the only thing you ever do ever again?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be...
Now, it works 80% of the time. Are you going to try it? Show of hands again. Yeah. You in the back again? Right, you'll try it. Will it be the only thing you ever do? And nobody raises their hands. Not even me. I'm going to make a concerted effort. 2018 is the year that I actually do listen to that fucking statement. I have something that works 80% of the time. And yeah, you could go broke anyway. You do realize that if it works 80% of the time, the 20%ers could still fuck your world. You want to know how? Let's say you are trading an 80% clip. Let's make it easy. That means if you do 10 trades, you're winning on 8. So let's say you have 8 winning trades. You made 15 cents here, 22 cents there, maybe 50 cents on that, maybe $1.20 on a win. Hey, how about $1.25 on a Facebook? Next thing you know, you get one that doesn't work, and you're down your 15 cents, and it's breaking back under where you should be selling it. But then you say,
Well, it works 80% of the time. Why should I take this loss?
There are rules. If it breaks back under the certain price and then goes beyond, breaks the range where it just came from, you got to take your loss. And usually it's a small loss because our entries are pretty good. So if you don't take the loss, like the mark, one bad trade fucks up the other 8 that worked. So we're not even talking about the 10. So you got 10 trades. Let's say you did well on 8, but then you held mark today as it was tanking. Oh, this thing isn't working out. Oh, let's hang on to it. Kenny says he's working 80% of the time. And it'll just work itself out. Next thing you know, 10.50, 10, 9.50, 9, 8.50, and you can't believe that this thing was just 15.
I'm not going to sell it now.
And now you just took your day where you did 8 really nice trades and were up quite a bit, and you let one shitty trade ruin it all. So it's not just the setup. You have to have risk management, money management, and discipline. Yeah, I'll show you how to do it. And the first things first is stock ownership sucks unless the words are diamonds and Qs. That's it. All other stocks suck. And I don't even care if AMD opens up tomorrow at $22, which would be awesome, but it's not going to do that. And chances are I'm going to be going and bashing on AMD tomorrow. And you know what? When Alibaba comes out with their earnings, and if the stock goes down 17 points on Thursday night and then gaps down 22, and if it doesn't go green on Friday afternoon, guess what? Alibaba could suck a big one too. Individual stock ownership sucks. Because when you're trading, you know what you're doing. You're in there for the moment. Come what may, you know there's no chance in hell you're staying in this trade for more than a day. Or even more than 20 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. Or for wherever the parameters that you set dictate. But once you hold something overnight, then it's in the hands of the matrix. You're in the hands of the futures contracts. You're in the hands of the raping of the CEOs. Dog fucking CEO comes out tonight on AMD, or their chip, not only does their chip not help you with your blockchain, but it kills you. So if you're trying to mine some sort of cryptocurrency with your AMD, you get cancer. That's the kind of news that could come out. That's the kind of shit that happens to me. I hope it doesn't happen, but that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. All right, you have a nice night, and yeah. My God, I just, like, took 20 years off my life. Or, no, wait, I went back 20 years. So I'm plus 19 years. I lost a year of my life watching that fucking mark today. And so I shaved, now I feel better, and I look better. But I don't, you know, that's going to be a hard one to chew. And, you know, if Mark's at 750 tomorrow and it goes green at 785 and whatever, 850, who knows? It could be a fantastic trade tomorrow. But individual stock ownership, oh man.